How the devil? I'm here with a few suggestions to help players adjust to the new patch changes and acclimatise to the new tech tree. I won't run through every weapon and what it does, as I make the presumption you can read, at least enough to have installed the game anyway. I'll be focusing more on highlighting a couple of tactics which might make your life a little bit easier. So, let's begin. The Sentinel. What can I say? Some call it aimbot, most call it broken. I call it dirty fun. Let's face it, everyone likes to blast around in the Sentinel every so often. It's mindless self-indulgence, and what better ship to introduce people smoothly into the game with, while simultaneously crushing the souls of any captain who's been flying for any decent length of time. First things first, make sure you spam T until you lock onto a target. Now the next step is the most important. Firmly tape down your left mouse key, or right mouse key if you switch them over in the Windows options. Not that I could see why you would. We'll come back to the importance of this later on. Ability 1 is your thruster pulse. It's a mobility boost. The key to using this is waiting until someone from the enemy team looks at you, usually in a sideways glance. You can't be too careful, at which point you slam this bad boy and press a directional key. Hell, hit a few directional keys. It doesn't matter. It throws you in whichever direction you push, and you're going to get away regardless. As a side note, this will also give your allies in close proximity a boost, whilst also slowing down your enemies. However, if you're able to get close enough for this to have any effect on your enemies, then you're obviously seriously doing something wrong. Re-listen to the first part of this video again to figure out where you've gone astray. Remember we discussed taping down the left mouse key before? Well, this is basically so you have one less thing to think about whilst you run away. Just make sure to aim vaguely in the direction of your would-be assailant, and everything else will be just fine. You also have rail rockets, which are a dumbfire rocket that applies a slow to the target on impact. You won't need these. I appreciate they do outrange your smart guns. However, if you are using them, then you're either letting your target get far too close, or alternatively you're far too good a shot to be using the Sentinel. Repeat and rinse this a number of times. Don't worry about capping. That's your pet venturer and or pioneer's job. You're going to be doing far too many killing to be concerned with that. Speaking of which, onto the venturer. This ship solely exists so that you can unlock the Zarek points to get to the hunter. It's merely a byproduct. Kinda like the ladder you might use to get to the top of a shelf. I don't personally need this. I'm bloody tall. But you get where I'm coming from. Now the venturer's main attack is a constant beam with a relatively low cooldown, which is great because it can be used to decloak any stealth units. Yeah, well, I suppose that's actually a little bit redundant at the moment, I guess. To be fair, there will be some people with the founder pack Phantom Ghost, so you may see some glory until someone gets a hunter, then you're redundant, but don't worry, most ships are redundant once you get a hunter anyway. Basically, hug the Sentinel in your team like your life depends on it, because frankly, it does. Use your Stonecracker to smash the hell out of the armor on whatever your savior, your Sentinel, is shooting at, and make sure you use the heal whenever someone manages to scratch your Sentinel's paintwork. Don't worry too much about the shielding boy. Sentinels don't stand still, so you won't actually use it. Also, spam your missiles. Make sure you cap anything and everything in your path. Your Sentinel is going to be far too busy killing stuff and carrying you to worry about capping anything. Finally, onto the Pioneer. The key here is to queue with 4 friends, making sure they fly Sentinels so they can carry you. If you don't have 4 friends, either pay for 4 people to carry you. I'm reasonably priced, just as a side note. Or if you don't have the money to spare, pray to whatever god you might see fit to throw you a bone. You'll most definitely be needing it. If he throws you that bone, hold on to it for dear life. Basically, keep doing this until you can buy something better than the Pioneer. Until this happens, cap anything and everything you can and hope for the best. Don't get me wrong, you can shoot stuff and do things, but basically, your auto attack fires Pepsi cans at people. Your nuke is basically a large Pepsi can that's been shaken to within an inch of explosion. You lob it at someone, the top pops and it throws them back while drenching them in sticky Pepsi contents. Sometimes they have to return to a station to wash it off, but most of the time they're just going to stare at you vexed. Or at least that's what it feels like to me. You also have a detection buoy, which is great if there happen to be any cloakers in your match and they're blind and dumb enough to fly in the bloody thing's line of sight. It's stationary, which is about as much use as an Astra on a motorbike, given that the only cloaker you might come up against has target blink which allows it to escape. But always remember to spam those missiles. Now, I hope this helps with the coming adventures. I'm pretty sure it's gone a long way to clearing up a lot of the confusion. In the meantime, I wish you the best of luck, pilot. You're most definitely going to need it once you realise how many people out there have got the Reaper unlocked and will be grinding the hell out of it. Hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hit the dislike if you didn't. I will find you. I will feed you laxatives in your sleep. And please feel free to leave a comment. I'll probably be grinding the Venturer on Twitch for the next few days. Really need to get that hunter. So stop by if you fancy, the link's below. And until next time, stay well as always.